can start.
I'll leave the first invocation.
Okay, 1 second.
Sadashiv.
You can see?
Yes.
Okay.
Sadashiv. Sorry. Can I go?
Yeah.
Sadashiv Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Shruti Smriti Puranan Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutrabhashyakrito Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Atha Tritiyoऽध्यायः नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तत्ते वेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नान त एव च कर्मणि.
Very good. Excellent. Keep it up, everyone. Doing so well. Glad. Oh.
All thanks to Shruti ji.
Of course, definitely. And all your efforts as much. Both of you together. But definitely a lot of effort from her. Commendable. Yes. So we are doing verse 21. A lot of people are wondering what is the. Can you see the verses?
No, Deepti ji, the screen is blue.
Blank. Okay. 1 minute. Now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. Good. So many people are always confused with reference to what is the main tatparyam, main essence, main message of the Bhagavad Gita to humankind. Now that we all know that it is a part of Mahabharat, and Mahabharat is a war that is taking place. Actually, it's a family war, and they being kings and Therefore, the entire associated kingdoms are also fighting. Therefore, the whole country is fighting in a way. It's a huge Mahabharat war. The whole Bharat is involved in the war. What is Krishna's role here? What is Krishna doing in the war? And in the war, what is the importance of Bhagavad Gita being placed in the midst of the battlefield? We have touched upon these points, but just for revision, and look back again and connect it constantly so that we never miss the main message of the Bhagavad Gita. When you talk to people around, when you have conversations naturally, normally, so many people study Bhagavad Gita. But each one has a different level of confusion, let me put it. Each one has some confusion there with reference to what really is the Gita talking about. What is Krishna telling in the Gita? So, Shastra says, through the help of the Bhashyams, that it is a mokshastram. Moksh means it shows you the way to your own self. उसी को मोक्ष कहते हैं. Knowing your own self is moksha. Abiding in knowing your own self is moksha. So Shastra is telling us the way to know that. Bhagavad Gita is telling us that. How does it do that? It is a very important distinction drawn in the Vedas that there is an inner maturity happening in human beings. Our minds, our intellects, what we call as antakaranam, this antakaranam undergoes change. It's subject to change, it is constantly changing. And in the process of it changing, it has the potential to grow in maturity, in vision, in understanding, in knowing who one is. What is the nature of one's own being? Up to that point, one can grow, or it is such a ShreSTha dhara, two-edged knife, that the same human body can slip you further down into a way of wasting your life, just sensory indulgences, and you waste it. Krishna's message in the Gita is, because it is keeping in mind that everyone would have different maturity, inner maturity. How much have you discerned the world? How much have you anchored in the discernment of the world? If there's any of these things that is not clear, you can ask a little later when I complete the section. Just keep it in your mind. I'll finish the topic, and then if you have clarifications, you can ask. So, what is this inner maturity? Each one has a different level of maturity. What is that? How much have we understood the ways of actual ways, not vyavharik I'm talking about, but discerning the natural laws, which means where our minds get involved naturally, running after pleasures fundamentally, we are able to extract ourselves out and question that pleasure seeking nature of the mind. Questioning that pleasure seeking nature through knowledge, understanding, reflection, one is able to come to a conclusion by fair universal observation. It is as scientific a process as sciences. You get your data from observation of things, but not of matter, but of a common thread that runs in human beings. I'll give an example. If you run after an object, if someone really desperately wants to buy a car, upgrade their car to a better version, now everybody will, Whoever has a desire knows how to go about fulfilling that desire. You seek it, you go after it, and you want that object. What does a observant person notice? If you seek something more, if you have some purva samskar of shastra or your own growth from your young age, you will say, look, this person is so disturbed, so agitated because of a desire for a car. You just observe the agitation. First, you may see it in one person. Then you expand your thinking. Is it only in one person? And you slowly start extracting a principle that wherever there are desires for objects, and this is important to underline, wherever there are desires for objects, there you find whoever, irrespective of the person, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the caste, color, creed, religion, excuse me, irrespective of anything, you are able to observe wherever there is a desire, a person is agitated, is subject to be disturbance. When he gets it, his happiness seems to be no limit. But along with it comes a lot of other things you start observing. And these are common to all. It's not A, B, C alone who would have it. When you are able to extract this kind of a knowledge, and your buddhi has seen it, and you know this is a working principle, your own desire seeking, what will happen to it? You may have desires, you want objects, but your own desire seeking, what will happen to that?
They get controlled.
They get controlled.
They get-
Very good. That's the first step. They will get controlled. Then
Then, as
You will know
observation,
why you're agitated.
Oh.
Like why do your mind get unstable?
All
So
right.
there has to be
All
one
right. All right.
unfulfilled desire.
Right. But if the desire is controlled, then what? That's a third step that you will know. But before, once the desire is controlled, then what will happen to that desire?
Fade away.
Fade away. It weakens. It starts to automatically weaken. Because what is human being seeking? Happiness. But when you actually see that the chase of the desire is causing me disturbance, you start to become freed of that desire. This is Shastra's way of saying now you have inner growth. You're growing. You have maturity. You've started becoming, Antakarna is becoming mature. Physical body is maturing on its own, but Antakaran doesn't mature on its own. So, for the Antakaran to mature, you have started observing laws and you've started anchoring in it, and you're beginning to find freedom from those chases. It's not freedom from all desires, but the dependency of the fulfillment of the desire starts to reduce, it starts to weaken, it starts to come under your control. You are able to laugh it off to say, so what? We used to say this bhajan, tata kim, so what? So what? Mil gaya to so what? Nahi mila to so what? Means desire is just one of the ways to get some temporary happiness. Fulfillment of a desire means it's just a temporary happiness. Now, when you go through the same thought process further and further, you can come to the fact that that temporary nature of happiness, is that what I seek? And when that answer starts to come, no, that's not really what is going to keep me satiated. I seem to be wanting a nature of happiness that lasts, that is going to not change, etc., etc. This is just a very outline kind of a thing. The point is connecting it to what is Krishna saying to Arjuna and to all of us in the Bhagavad Gita. So many people are getting different interpretations of it. What really is Krishna saying? Keeping this fact in mind that there are different levels of inner maturity, and everyone in the beginning will start from the fact that we have desires and we get disturbed by their non fulfillment. And we work hard to fulfill them. And that is the only method of living that we understand and we know. Keeping that as a starting point, and keeping that as a starting point, Krishna tells Arjuna that to find your inner freedom, you have to remain active, first and foremost. Keep yourself in the realms of your actions, but those actions, whatever they be, you have to start using those actions. Means you utilize that opportunity, you use those actions, your capacity to act, you use that capacity to act with a change in an attitude. And that change of an attitude we are seeing now is Karam Yoga. Means the message of the Gita is throughout the Gita, from the beginning to the end, however many topics Gita seems to be covering, almost the entire topic of the Veda, yet what is the bottom line? What is the tatparyam in one sentence? What is the message of the Gita? What is in one sentence Krishna telling Arjuna? He is waking him up, he's shaking him up to say, do not do, means I'm rephrasing, continue to do what you ought to do till you find yourself inwardly sitting, being free of that chase. The example is why to Arjun, Krishna gave the knowledge of Karma Yoga for his Chitta Shuddhi, and that is Chitta Shuddhi. That inner maturity is Chitta Shuddhi. Why did he give him that? For the simple reason, as we have seen, you're a Kshatriya, you're a Raja, even for the sake of Lok Sangraha. And the praman of all these characteristics of Arjuna is Krishna knows that if he were to give up his action now, and he goes to the forest as he wants now at this time, in that situation of the war, and he goes to the forest, says, I'll live on bhiksha, I'll be a sannyasi, and I'll wander about, and I'll be happy with whatever I get, and I'm even happy if they kill me unarmed, etc., etc., but I will not fight this war. And if he does that, there is a very likelihood that his own nature, which is not yet resolved, he's not come to the point of inner maturity, of becoming free of his own inner desires. He is likely to be very, very disturbed, and he will have a fall, what we are calling as a spiritual fall. He will slip into, he will lose his way towards his own inner growth. Because the only way you grow is, is following the Shastra. And if you move away from it and make a wrong turn, that is not right according to the Shastra, you are likely not to grow and you will slip into samsara. The example of it is what happened when they uh, trapped Abhimanyu in Chakravyuh. What happened to Arjuna's mind? Anybody knows the story? When he was trapped in Abhimanyu was trapped and killed. And when Arjun got to know this, he took a vow that before sunset, he is going to kill, I forget the name, but he was to kill one of the Kauravas, the army over there who had set it. Now that, and Krishna instantly.
Jayadrat.
Who?
Jayadrat, ma'am.
Jayadrat, that's right. Instantly, Krishna knew that Arjun had taken a wrong decision. Before sunset, I am going to kill him tomorrow. Now, before that was his Kshatriya nature. Khoon khol gaya, ekdam se. A few minutes before, hours before, days before, whatever, he wanted to go away to the forest. He wanted to renounce. He said, I cannot fight this war. I'm better off killed. But the minute he heard that Abhimanyu was killed, his Kshatriyapan came out. And Krishna, of course, had to cover it up. We all know the story. Now, what is this message here? आपका स्वभाव, ये स्वभाव के हिसाब जो आपका आज स्वभाव है, keeping that in mind, your duties you have to go on doing. However difficult a situation may arise in life, it may look like to be an impossible to execute your duties at that time. Yet, your option of not doing is not to be taken. Throughout the Gita, there will be so much emphasis on this point because this is the main message. Yet, it's amazing how we forget this. It's amazing how it slips our mind. When our rag dvesh takes over, when our own desire, unfulfillment, fulfillment, all this natural process of living that we see around us and we are a part of it, when that takes us over, suddenly all this goes away. And that's the warning, or that's the education, as I keep saying. That is the teaching of the Gita. If you learn this well, for your sake, on such moments, they may come once or twice in life, they may not happen every occasion, it doesn't come Sunday to Sunday. Such situations don't arise very frequently in one's life, but they arrive in everybody's life. And they are enough to take us away from our main pursuit. They are enough to actually destroy a human being. Those situations can reduce you to your worst, your own worst. So, knowledge is like a protective gear, it's a protection which helps us to face those situations in a way that let them tide away. You keep facing them, the situations tide away, and you do not slip into your own worst swabha, into your own worst nature. So, keeping this in mind, Krishna has already brought Arjuna to recognizing his duties. तुम्हारे कर्तव्य क्या है? You know, many of, if we do a workshop on this chapter, you can start thinking about it. It may take 1 week, 10 days, 15 days. What are my kartavyas? Kartavya, by the very word, kartavya means क्या? करने योग्य. मेरे करने योग्य क्या है? Means what is it that ought to be done? English translation is that, as close as possible. क्या है जो मेरे करने योग्य है? When that cognition is there, that has to be your guideline. So now in 21st verse we are seeing Krishna has already said in the 20th verse that all these great masters, kings from our lineage of Kshatriyas, etc., keeping one part of their own antakaranam anchored to the knowledge, to the wisdom, that remains the leading guide, guiding them through their lives' choices, through their lives' situations. They remain anchored in the knowledge of Atma. They remain anchored in the knowledge of Dharma. If the knowledge of anchor is Atma is not clear, at least Dharma. And that's where Gita has come. At least Dharma. Keep the knowledge of Dharma in your mind and let that Dharma decide mera kartavya kya hai. So, keeping in mind that these Janaka, Dayaha, Janak, etc., have attained their own state of evolution, means maximum possible. They've become Gyanis. By remaining in karma, by remaining doing their duties, it is possible to do it. And because they are Gyanis, all their actions are not for their sake. They don't want anything from the world. They are fulfilled already. They have found happiness within themselves, irrespective of situations. That's one of the yardsticks of a Gyani. What is a yardstick of a Gyani? Irrespective of the situation, there is a self discovery, self dependence, there is a self invigoration, a happiness that you are by yourself with yourself. What are the Sanskrit words for it? Anybody?
Sthita
Sorry?
Prajna.
Sthita prajna. And what does that
वो
have?
अपने आप में वो अपने आप में संतुष्ट है.
वो अपने आप में संतुष्ट, आत्मरति ही,
Atmatript.
आत्मतृप्त, आत्मसंतुष्टि ही. So that is the yardstick of that Jnani. Now, keeping this in mind, in the 21st verse, he says, Janak is still there. Here I am standing in front of you. Now, of course, sorry. 21st verse, he says, uh, as the leader does, as the Shresht Purusha does, the people follow. People just follow whatever the Shresht Purusha does. I think we covered this in details last class, did we? Finished, no?
So he said if he doesn't do his duty, then all the others will fall
Correct.
below.
So we finished this. So the first line was that those who are respected in the society and have accomplished something, who people look up to, those people, whatever they do, the others will, it's almost blindly following, ape them. The second line said, and that's equally important, Sayat Pramanam Kurute. Whatever they have beliefs, whatever they believe in, वो जिसको प्रमाण मानते हैं. Even within the Gita, as many teachers, you will have different emphasis that each one will give. Same chapter, same verse. Even among students, if you the same question, there'll be different um, answers, different points. Answers will be approximately the same, but there'll be different points highlighted. जो उनके दिमाग में highlighted है, that is called pramanam, जो वो मानते हैं. That, he says, people will take that as a praman, means अगर वो ये कर रहे हैं तो हम भी कर सकते हैं, अगर वो ऐसे हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं ऐसा करें. That becomes a logic in itself. It's a justification in itself. There is no further questioning possible on it. If they are doing, so will we. That is why to all parents it's always said, do not tell your child, but show your child. Which means don't tell them do this or do that. Set examples. You do it yourself, a child will learn. He sees you and he learns you. He learns from that. Exactly the same way, Janaha, all the people in the world, they do just the same. Why? As we saw, uh, Madhusudan ji had said, because there is no swatantra buddhi, na tu na tu anyat swatantriyena. The others, the followers, they don't have the capacity to discern themselves. They do not think for themselves. Correct. So, because they are not swatantra in their thinking, prakritaha tad anugataha. Their own prakrit nature they are adheen to. They follow their own prakrit nature, the impulsive nature. Therefore, they get very easily swayed by whatever they see as impressive around. So, to those who are accepted in the society as a Shresht, they said, whatever you do, and here Madhusudan ji had added, Shubham or Ashubham. Our concept of Shresht means वो अच्छा ही करते होंगे, बट जरूरी नहीं जिसको हम श्रेष्ठ मान रहे वो सिर्फ अच्छा ही कर रहे हैं. शुभम और अशुभम. If you are not careful about your own acharan or what you ought to be doing, then whatever you are doing, shubh or ashubh, others will see you and they will start following that, thinking this is the right thing to do. Therefore, he says you should be keeping Loka Sangraha in mind, that people see, people observe, you should act. Then he said, now he gives his own example. Name parthaha asti kartavyam. He says, again kartavyam, O Parth, मेरे लिए में न कर्तव्यम, कोई कर्तव्य नहीं है, अस्ति है नहीं, फॉर मी ओ पार्थ कोई कर्तव्य नहीं है, वेर त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन, even in three worlds, not just the war here in front. One of the commentators said even here in the war also is correct. He has nothing, no role to play in that war. He's here because Arjun said come, so he's doing his bit, but I have no kartavya here. त्रिषु लोकेषु किं, not even a little, किंचन, इतना भी कर्तव्य नहीं है मेरा. नाना वाप्तम वाप्तव्यम, there is nothing that is not gained by me which I should gain, and there is nothing to be gained. अनावाप्तव्यम, जो मुझे मेरे पास ऑलरेडी है नहीं. अवाप्तव्यम, जो मुझे पाना है, मुझे चाहिए, means I need it. There is nothing like that. Yet, varta, it's an important word. Varta means रहता हूँ. I remain. Evacha, and I remain. Eva, कर्मणि, कर्म करते हुए मैं रहता हूँ. That's the moolam gist. There is nothing for me to do, gain what I don't already have. I have nothing at all in the world that I seek, which I don't already have. Yet, O Parth, I remain doing my kartavya karmas, karmani. In my karmas, I remain doing my kartavya karma. Very simple verse, but the sambandha that Shankara gives here from 21st to 22nd verse, he says, यदि अत्र अपि लोक संग्रह कर्तव्यतायाम ते विप्रतिपत्तिः, means if you have an objection to saying why should I do for the sake of the world, and we saw Madhusudan ji had said that people, even if I do, why will people follow me? Why should they follow me? So both sambandhas connecting to the next verse. He says, then tarhi, even then, mam kim na pashyasi? Why can't you see me? He's telling Arjun. Is the connection clear?
So he cannot leave being a Bhagwan, so we have no right to say that we want to give up karma.
Very
right?
simple. Absolutely. So he says, if your objection is to say कि why should we work for the sake of the world, लोक संग्रह के लिए क्यों कर्म करना है, or if you give a counter question to say, even if I do, what is a guarantee that people will follow it? Means what is a guarantee that people should follow it? Why will they? To both of them said, okay, leave your question aside. I'm not arguing on that point. Just look at me. I have nothing to do. Take me, Tarhi. Even then, see me as a example in front of you. And 22, 23, 24, all three verses, he gives his own personal example as an example to convince Arjun कि मैं भी अगर कर्म करता हूँ तो there is no excuse for anybody else. So there is nothing much in to be explained. Na anavaptam is here in the second line. Na anavaptam. means apraptam. The meaning of it is apraptam, जो प्राप्त नहीं है. Avaptavyam is the second meaning here. Avaptavyam. Avaptavyam means प्रापणीयम, जो प्राप्त करना है. अप्राप्त मीन्स जो मिला नहीं है और जो प्राप्त करना है in the future. Tathapi, even then, varte eva cha karmani aham. I remain doing my karmas. I'm always engaged in them.
Deeply, that brings me to the question that whether it's Rag, Dvesh, or whatever, you have to keep it aside and do your karma. There is no excuse, even if you say that my Rag and Dvesh took over, you cannot use that as an excuse.
Yeah, if you want to establish in your Sharir Yatra. I am sorry, in your Karam Yoga. That is the whole effort, no? Yes, correct. The excuse is only to be kind to yourself. Once in a while, it's okay. Being a human being, it's okay. But it doesn't mean that excuse should become a habit. Just don't, nobody should be harsh by themselves towards themselves. Be kind to yourself when you are doing your duties. But being kind means being consistently doing your duties. Not,
Sadev.
sorry,
Sadev.
sorry.
Work towards Sadev. Sadev, Sadev,
Sadev,
always.
Sadev, absolutely, always. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Hanji, now you can. Yeah.
Okay, so when he says that, so is it a weakness in a human being's mind that if he follows a ShreSTha?
Huh. It is a natural process. You
That's
can't.
a human tendency and
Yeah,
temperament.
yeah. It is actually
So
in a
if-
life tendency and temperament. It's not just human. That's what is called a herd instinct.
Okay.
So in a herd instinct, what is there? One person and everybody else just follows non-thinking. You know?
So it's not good to have something like that.
Actually, by the time as a human being, it's not good.
Okay.
A human being should be discerning themselves, and that's what Vedas say. In fact, what are all the religions? Why have they become? Why is the religions caused a mess on the planet? Because of followers, non-thinkers. Vedic lifestyle. Krishna is not going to doesn't say follow me. He's not telling Arjun follow me. He's giving him as an example. But at the end of it, he will say the choice is still yours, whether you want to follow me or not. तुम समझ के करो. That's why he's putting so much effort to Arjun to raise his understanding to the level where he can take the right decision. And not just simply because Krishna tells him to fight. Arjun wanted to be a follower. Arjun wanted that Krishna should just tell him, मैं लड़ूं कि नहीं लड़ूं. Ekam vada. He said, na, निश्चित्य ekam vada.
Because it makes life easy for every human being if
Exactly.
somebody tells
Because
you
it will make life easy for him. Everybody.
that. Right, so got that. Thank you so much.
Would the meaning of kartavya include the manner in which kartavya must be done? That is as karma yoga. In the actual sense, yes. Ideally speaking, that alone we should call as kartavya. Yes. Not as a regular meaning, because regular meaning, when people say I am doing my kartavya, it becomes a burden. So only as a karma yoga, that should really be your kartavya. Where your ragadvesh is kept under your control, it is not interfering with your sense of duty. Keeping it aside, you are able to direct your organs of action and your mind to doing what ought to be done. Mark these words. There are certain words which are very unfolding, they can unfold a process. This is that. What is those words? You keep aside the ragadvesh. The jiva keeps aside the ragadvesh in his self, directs his organs of action towards what ought to be done, mind supporting it. Means through your mind only, any way you can direct. But that is the way to start. If anybody has starting trouble with karam yoga, keep whenever ragadvesh is disturbing the action, keep the ragadvesh aside.
Don't be submissive to it.
Very good. Don't be submissive to them. And that is what is the inner battle. That is what is the inner Mahabharat. That is what is the inner struggle. That is the fight between the Kauravas and Pandavas within. Our Ragdvesh, our Ahankar is our Kauravas. They are interfering with what I ought to be doing. So there's a sense of righteousness, there's a sense of duty, which is our Pandavas. We know them, we have associated them, identified them with Krishna, the highest knowledge. That means my purpose of life has got aligned to what Shastra's vision for a human life is. That I have aligned. Now my Ragadvesh, my Ahankar are always interfering with what I ought to do. That is my Mahabharat war within me. That is the struggle within. For me to re-establish righteousness again within myself and reclaim my own peace of mind. Okay. Uh, So here Madhusudanji only says one extra point, which is a very endearing point, I would say. When Krishna, whenever he uses the word Parth, he means to say son of Pritha. Uh, Partha. So he says Sambodhan, uh, Sambodhayan. By giving that Sambodhan to Arjun, Vishuddha Kshatriya Vamshadvam. He says, Parth Keke, he has I'm sorry. Parth Keke, Krishna has drawn Arjun's attention to their Kshatriya Vamsha, which is Vishuddha. Vishuddha means absolutely unsullied, pure. That purity means it is again kind of giving him a push from within, reminding him that he represents such a lineage and he has to be careful of his own conduct and his decisions. And that lineage was uh, Kshatriya, which was fighting the adharmic elements all the time and winning over. So that is that verse gets over. Let's do the next verse. So far, I think we're all okay on the same page. Any questions up till now? Yeah. So we'll move on to the next verse. Yeah.
Want to chant?
Yeah, please. Twice, can you chant the verse twice?
Yes. यदि ह्यहन्नवर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः यदि ह्यहन्नवर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः.
Just a little suggestion. When we are doing the sandhi between hum and na, don't give a pause. So make it quick. Yadi hyahannavar instead of yadi hyahannavar. So there's a little pause coming. If you give a pause, then it should be makar. Otherwise, Nakar is right with Sandhi and make it fast. Okay? But very good. Excellent. Got it? Huh. So he says here now in the 23rd verse, supposing what happens if I stop doing what I'm supposed to do? Means he has nothing to do, so he need not do. In fact, that's the question Madhusudan ji will put as Sambandha. That Arjuna will say, but why are you doing? You need not do, no? You don't need to act. He says, if I don't act, yadi hi aham na varteyam. If, yadi, he, indeed, aham na varteyam, agar मैं ना रहूं, if I don't remain, कर्मण्य अतिन्द्रितः, कर्मणि अतिन्द्रितः, कर्मों को करते हुए, अतिन्द्रितः means without being lazy. The translation here is tirelessly, ceaselessly, अतिन्द्रितः, बिना रुकावट, बिना lazy, भाष्यकार will say, without being lazy, ढीला ढाला. That's a good word. हम ढीला ढाला कर्म करते हैं ना अपना. What is ढीला ढाला कर्म? Means I have not put my best in that action. That is ढीला ढाला. I didn't give my best. I'm too lazy to give my best. So he says, if I remain not doing my actions and do not continuously keep doing my actions, then mama vartmana anuvartante. Vartman anuvartante. Mere, my. Vartman anuvartante manushyaha. All these people will follow. Anuvartante. चलते रहेंगे मेरे पीछे पीछे. They will also remain doing whatever I am doing in every way possible. Sarvashaha. In every way which is possible. O Parth means if I am not continuously doing what I am supposed to do, then what will happen to all the Manushyas? They will also follow me from all sides, in all ways. So nothing much except that, as I said, atindritaha means analasaha. Analasaha is without alas. कोई आलस किए बिना. Alas word is so much better than lazy. हमारे one of the biggest things, obstacles of our action is what prevents us. राग द्वेष इतना नहीं होता है. राग द्वेष फिर भी in proportion acts less. What acts more preventing us from doing what we are supposed to do is laziness, tamas. That is more. I know I should be getting up to do exercise. What prevents me? It's not so much that I like sleeping, it's just I don't want to, I'm lazy, I'll find 1,000 reasons. So that atindritaha, tirelessly, Sanskrit, English translation, but Shankara gives this meaning. What do you mean by tirelessly? Without being lazy. And that is one of the finest guidance, actually, to human beings also, to children in particular. One of the very ideal things to do is don't let your child sit idle. Keep them directed doing what they ought to be doing. Because if you make them sit idle for too long, वो एक रस जो आ जाता है, आलस का रस जो आ जाता है, तमस का रस अगर बढ़ गया, तो it will be difficult to shake the person as they grow up. So intelligent parenting means keep directing the child, especially in that molding age. Keep putting them into some action or the other so that the laziness is managed. So Krishna says, if I do not act continuously, aham atindrita analasah san karmani jatu kadachit na vartyam. Same meanings, all of them. Na anutishteyam karmani tada, then mama ShreSThasya. That's the extra clarity. He says, mama vartmanu vartante. Everybody will follow me. And who am I? Mama ShreSThaha. He's connecting it to the previous verse. ShreSThasya sat. Remaining that I am ShreSTha. Vartam. People will remain doing margam. They will follow the same marg. Hey Parth. Manushyaha. And that is extra clarity. Who are these people who will follow me? Lazy. They'll also all become lazy, not doing what they're supposed to do. These are the Manushyas who are कर्मों में जिनका अधिकार है. So people who are supposed to be acting, जिनका अधिकार कर्म में है. कर्म में जिनका अधिकार है, उसका किसका अधिकार नहीं है? किस में अधिकार नहीं है? In the thought flow of the whole chapter.
Just to sit idle or not do their karmas.
Sorry?
Sit idle, not do their karmas.
हाँ नहीं,
इसमें
जिसका
अधिकार नहीं।
अधिकार कर्म में है, उसका किस में अधिकार नहीं है? संन्यास में अधिकार. कर्म संन्यास में अधिकार नहीं है. जिसका कर्म में अधिकार मीन्स उसको कर्म करते रहना है. तो वो लोग जिनको कर्म करना है, वो भी कर्म छोड़ देंगे विदाउट हैविंग कम टू द पॉइंट कि अब तुम्हारा कर्म संन्यास में अधिकार है. बिफोर दैट ओनली दे विल गिव अप देयर कर्मास. दीज मनुष्य संतः अनुवर्तन्ते anuvarteran sarvashah sarva prakare. So they will be people who will just from all sides. Sarva prakar means in every possible way they'll find excuses. In every way they will not do and slip away from doing what they ought to do. Okay. And then what will happen if I don't do my karmas and people will follow me? So what? Shankara gives this connection. Tatha cha kaha doshaha iti. What is the flaw? What is the harm if they don't do their karmas? You get the link? What will be the harm if they don't do the karmas? That is the next verse. Can you please chant again?
संकरस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामिमाः प्रजाः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्या कर्म चेदहम् संकरस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामिमाः प्रजाः.
So he says all these people let me start from here. Lokaha, ime lokaha. All these people in the world, what will happen? Na kuryam karma chet aham. If I, chet, if aham, I, na kuryam karma, I do not do what is to be done. Then all these people in the world who are karma adhikaris and yet have not matured for atma vichar, they don't have inner independence, they haven't discovered their freedom from karmas, they haven't found atmaratihi even relatively, they still depend upon sense pleasures for their happiness, they run after things, they get disturbed because they don't get their objects of happiness. All these people who are supposed to otherwise be doing karma, Utsideyuhu. What is Utsideyuhu? Shankara says Vinashyeyuhu. Utsideyuhu means in सबका नाश हो जाएगा. They'll be destroyed. This entire world means what? People living in the world. They will be destroyed. Utsideyuhu vinashyeyuhu ime sarve lokaha. This entire world will collapse. What is lokaha? Lokasthiti nimittasya karmanaha abhavat. Because even for sustenance of anything, the world in particular, you need karma. Karma is the nimittam. So for the sthiti, srishti, sthiti, laya. Once the srishti is made, now the sthiti of it is going to be because of karma. Dharmic karma, as we keep often saying it. That dharmic karma, when people will stop doing, this world will collapse. It will perish. So what will happen if it collapses? He says, Sankarasya cha karta syam upahanyami imaha prajaha. He says, there will be, I'm going to take this verse again, there will be sankaraha. Sankaraha means confusion, intermixture. Sankar means mil jana. When you have two colors separately, say red and green, and you can identify them as two separate colors. But when you whirl them around, there's something new that has come, but you won't identify the two colors separately. Intermix. So dharmas will get intermixed. Sankarasya cha karta. I will become the cause. I'll become the karta of creating confusion. Imaha prajaha. In these people, I will create confusion in these people. And what will happen? Upahanyami. Because of which I destroyed them. So I will become the nimitt of destroying my own srishti. How? By creating confusion about dharmas. So those who are supposed to do karma will also not do karma as a result of, because I am not doing my karma. So people will say it is okay not to do karma. They will also stop doing, and I will become the nimitta for creating this sankaram. Sankarasya cha kartasyam. Tena karanenan upahanyam imaha prajaha. Because of which I will become the cause of destruction. Upahanyam. Han, destroying. I will become the cause of destruction of this creation. Prajanam, but what am I supposed to be? Very interesting. Prajanam anugrahaya. I am supposed to be the one who's supposed to give anugraha to these prajas. Pravrittaha. Therefore, I remain tat upahitam. Kuryam iti mama ishwarasya ananurupam apadyeta. My job is otherwise to give them anugraha, bless them. I want a flourishing creation so that everyone can live and grow here. But I myself will become the cause of their destruction. And it doesn't go along with ananurupam, apadyet, ishwarasya. With my nature as an Ishvara, it will not go along with it. I'm supposed to bless them. But by my non-performance of karma, my Ishwaratvam I will not be true to. and as a result of which, the creation will fall, collapse. Okay? Clear? Oh, tomorrow we'll continue this a little more here, but in these three verses 21, 20, 22, 23, 24, Krishna is uh, taking his own example and saying, if I am, you should also, O Arjun. Otherwise, its repercussions are he is Ishvara, his dharma is Srishti, Sthiti, Lay. But Sthiti, maintenance of that creation. If he doesn't do his dharma, creation collapses. In the same way, every person has their own dharma. Following that dharma, continuously doing that, we are upholding the creation as well. Okay? So we'll end the class. Any question if anybody has? Otherwise, we'll end.
How will chaos come? Like one religion will get confused with the other or something. That's all.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. The duties will all be mixed up. That a little more extra I will say tomorrow, because that Varna Sankaraha, see, when you, that needs a little explanation. So I'll hold it for tomorrow. I need to wind up now. We'll take up the sun.
Prithiji, if we as humans don't do our duty, right, it has the same impact equal to Bhagwan not doing his. Is that what?
Uh, can you repeat what you said?
If we humans don't do our duty, is it equivalent? Like, does it have the same impact as God not performing?
Yes. At a relative level, our world is our world, whatever it comprises of. Even if it is few people, it is still our world. And that will be the same effect in that world as Bhagwan is saying, not doing his karma. Correct. Yes, it is Varna Sankaraha as we did in chapter 1. So he's going to connect that Varna Sankaraha over here also. Absolutely. Tomorrow we'll see that. Okay. Can you conclude?
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण मही महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्य शालिनी देशोऽयं शोकरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
Recording has stopped.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
धन्यवाद दीप्ति जी.
Dhanyavad.
So much.
Dhanyavad.